Hello, beautiful rule breaker. Today I want to give you a specific writing process for creating your next ebook or maybe your first ebook. You see, I think that everybody has it on their goal list to create a book. And while you might not be ready to create your New York Times bestseller, though we all know you're going to do it one day, I believe that creating a book on Kindle or as a PDF to sell on your website is an amazing way to establish your brand and reach new audiences and position yourself as an expert in your industry. I want to get down and dirty with the details on how to write all of the content for your book. And hey, even if you're not quite ready to write a book, you can use this writing process to create any content for your entire business. Here we go. Step number 1 is to do what I call a word vomit. In other words, this is where you let go of all inhibitions and just write down whatever's on your mind, whatever you're visualizing, whatever you're thinking when it comes to your book. And you're not going to edit yourself, you're just going to set a timer and write for as long as it takes. If you love to speak, a great way of doing this, and something that I definitely do, is to make a voice recording of yourself just talking about the topic that you wish to write about. Once you've done that, it's on to step number 2, which is gonna surprise you, and it's to write the sales page for your book. You may be surprised that I'm suggesting writing a sales page as the second step of your process before you've actually created the product. I believe that creating a sales page before you start writing the content is a magnificent way to keep yourself focused on what's going to be of value to the reader, how you need to structure the information for the reader, what do they need to learn first, and then what, and then what, and then what. And the whole goal is to get them to a specific result in their lives. You don't have to create an amazing, perfect sales page, just a really good outline of how you think you'll be marketing the book. Step number 3 is to outline your content. The question you need to ask here is, what's the best way to organize the material I need to teach? You can reverse engineer this or start from the beginning. Either you start with the end goal in mind and you say, okay, what's the last thing they need to do before getting there? What comes before that? What comes before that? Or you can do as I mentioned in the previous step, which is to say, what do I need to teach them first to get from where they are now to the next thing? And then what? And then what? And then what comes after that? Nothing is set in stone here. You can always modify your outline later and move sections around. Please do not be afraid of doing that. Revisions will happen, and the more you do earlier on, the better. As Seth Godin says, thrash early on. Don't wait to make big changes when you're about to send the book to the publisher. Make as many changes as you can early on so that after that you can just fill in the gaps. Step number 4 is to use your current resources. You do not have to create everything from scratch. Comb through all of your previous content. Blogs, drafts of blogs, articles, books, any products you've created, any content you've ever created that could relate to the topic of your book. You can definitely remaster this copy for your book so that you don't have to recreate it. That's a waste of energy. This will save you a ton of time. Use the content that you found to plug into your outline, and then you know what you need to create and what you already have. Finally, step number 5 is to follow a writing schedule. Now, people differ on their approaches to this. I personally prefer to set out long periods of time in a row that I can just hammer out the content. I'm not so good at maybe doing an hour a day for a month. I'd rather block out an entire weekend and just get it all done. But it's totally up to you, and you may need to do a combination of both. When you do get around to writing, I recommend doing some of it by hand as much as you can. Writing by hand stimulates the right brain rather than the left brain, which is stimulated by typing. So you may find that your thoughts come easier when you're writing by hand than when you're typing. Another thing you can do, as I mentioned earlier, is record yourself talking about each part of your book. You can always get these recordings transcribed and then fixed up so that they're ready to go and be plugged into your book. So those are the 5 steps. The first thing you're going to do is a word vomit. Step number 2 is to write a rough sales page. Number 3 is to outline your content. Number 4 is to use all of your current resources to fill in your outline. And then finally, step 5 is to follow a writing schedule to finish your book. It can be a total challenge to finish your first full-length book or product, but it's the best test you'll ever have to answer the question, are you an amateur or are you a professional? If you loved this video, I hope you will share it with all of your friends on Facebook and Twitter. And of course, if you haven't yet, please come over to rulebreakersclub.com and sign up to get your copy of the free copywriting cheat sheets. You'll also get these weekly videos delivered straight to your inbox, plus other stuff that I only give to rule breakers. I'll see you next time.